Bonjour! As the warm weather settles here in the southwest of France, I find myself drawn to the garden more and more each day. Watching nature unfold is a joy I never seem to tire of. Each morning brings something new. A bloom that wasn't there the day before, fresh shoots reaching up, leaves deepening in color. With windows and doors open wide, the line between indoors and outdoors slowly disappears and the house begins to breathe with the garden. This week, I was treated to my very first bouquet made entirely from flowers grown here. Walking from one plant to another, finding each bloom ready to be picked felt incredibly rewarding. At the same time, I feel deeply inspired by the colors of the season. They are everywhere at the moment, and naturally I find myself wanting to bring some of them indoors, which led me to a little idea I will share with you later in the video. Spring also means that brocante season is in full swing, and I have found a few pieces I am very happy with. A celebration vase engraved with the word souvenir. Several pieces of silverware, all featuring the coquille detail I love so much. A vieux Paris légumier, and a set of salad servers with silver handles. I also came across plates, a delicate clamshell dish, an unglazed china dove, and a beautiful fabric with Indian motifs. But my most special find is this oil painting. I discovered it last Sunday at one of my favorite dealers, tucked away in the bottom of a box, hidden beneath layers of frames and more recent prints. For some reason, I felt like digging a little deeper, and then I caught a glimpse of it. An 18th century nativity scene with the most delicate details in the robes of the three wise men. I have not yet found its place in the house. I tried it above the mantel, and while it immediately draws the eye, I'm still unsure about its scale in that space. So I will take my time, as always, and enjoy the process of deciding where it truly belongs. Since spring and its colors are so inspiring at the moment, I wanted to find a way to bring some of that energy indoors. As you may know, I have collected quite a lot of antique linen over the years, especially damask embroidered napkins. Some of them are in complete sets, sometimes just a pair or an odd number, which means I rarely get to use them when hosting. So I thought I would dye them in different colors, allowing me to mix and match them more freely. This time I used a brand we find here in France called Ideal, but I have tried many other brands before and have always been happy with the results. Here are a few of my tips if you would like to try this yourself. First, I like to mix different dyes together. I find that ready-made colors can sometimes be quite bright and lack depth, so I always add a few drops of brown or light brown to soften the shade. Secondly, I never use the full amount of dye at once. This allows me to build the color gradually, and if needed, I can always run the linen through a second dye bath. Thirdly, I always pre-mix the dye before adding it to the washing machine. Whether it comes in liquid or powder form, I dissolve it in a glass with water to make sure everything is well blended. The fabric should be clean and slightly damp before dyeing, as this helps the color distribute evenly and avoid marks or uneven patches. I also run the linen through a wash cycle beforehand. This is especially important with antique textiles, which may still contain traces of starch or other finishes. A small note as well, this technique only works with natural fibers such as cotton, linen or wool. To begin the dyeing process, I pour the mixture directly into the drum of the washing machine, then cover it with about 500 grams of salt, which helps fix the color to the fabric. I place the linen inside one piece at a time, making sure it is not tangled, and try not to overload the machine. Smaller batches always give better results. I then run a cycle according to the instructions, usually a longer cycle at around 40 degrees Celsius. When working on several colors, I always start with the lightest shades and gradually move towards darker ones. And to create harmony between all the colors, I like to add the same element to each dye bath. This time, I used a touch of light brown in every mix, adding more for deeper shades like berry or purple, and less for softer tones like peach or pale yellow. When all the dyeing batches are done, I make sure to thoroughly clean my washing machine, including the filters. The result is a collection of linens that I can now mix and match depending on the table, sometimes more coordinated, sometimes a little more playful. That evening, we had a relaxed dinner at home. I brought out an Indian block-printed tablecloth I found last summer and chose plates and napkins by picking up colours from its pattern. As the tablecloth is quite busy, I kept the plates simple, using plain white dinner plates topped with green barbotine ones. I chose purple, pink and brown napkins to create a colourful and joyful table. I also used the silverware I recently found. The coquille pattern felt like a gentle nod to the coming summer, along with some 19th century glass with delicate streaks. I tend not to place flowers on the table for dinner and prefer them at lunchtime instead. I find that they can get in the way of conversation or when passing dishes around, especially as our table is not very wide. If I had more space, I would probably add very low arrangements in the middle. I have a similar approach with candles. I love their glow in the evening, but they should never interrupt the view between guests. So I either use low holders or taller ones with candles that I have trimmed beforehand. A few minutes before inviting my guests to leave the apéritif in the lounge and gather at the table, I light the candles. It is a soft way of marking the transition and quietly showing that dinner is about to start and that the table is awaiting everyone. À bientôt!